Okay, so when I am looking for a credible online source, a credible source that I can use in an academic paper, it needs to be three things. It needs to be current within the last 5 years. It needs to be unbiased. It can't profit or have an underlying ideology. And it must rely on experts. It's got to have evidence that is specific and convincing to be used in an academic paper. So here I am on Google, and I'm going to start by typing in a search term. I saw something that I thought looked interesting online about forest bathing. So I type that in and I get a whole bunch of sites, and some of these, they're sponsored. So, that's not a good sign as far as being objective. So we're going to go through the process now of finding a source in all these results that we might be able to use for an academic paper. So the first thing I'm going to do, because it's the easiest, is I'm going to make sure it's current. So I click on Tools over here, and I can choose the time. And I'm going to pick Custom Range, and I'm going to type in anything from 2018. And then here, when it says 2, I can just click the current date and hit go. And that will take out anything that's more than 5 years old. So that helps right away. It's really fast. It's really easy. The next thing that I have to do is try to find a source that's expert, that relies on experts to, give the information, explain what's going on. So here is my top result, National Geographic. And as I scroll through here, I see them sort of talking about information. But I don't see, now we're getting into places, but as I scan, I'm not seeing quotation marks, I'm not seeing mention of experts or studies, so that's not going to work for me. Look at the next one, scroll along, same sort of thing, and see what I can find. And again, I'm sort of striking out with the information about the topic. There was something about nature, but it wasn't talking specifically about the science behind this concept. So I'm going to keep looking. So I clicked on several links, and here I found an article, and I was just sort of scrolling along, and it's written by a psychologist, so that seemed good. But I need something that's gonna, if I'm going to really want to learn about this, I want to know if there's any science behind it. And here I see a research study, and there is a link to that study here. And so that, more discussion of research in England. So now I'm thinking this could be a worthwhile article to use. So I've got the expert, I've got the current. All that I have left now is unbiased. And in order to figure out if my source is unbiased, I'm looking at the name of the source here, and I'm going to use a tool that we have on our Moodle shell that is the Media Bias Checker. It looks like it's a button with a newspaper and a check mark, and I'm going to click on that. Now, this is kind of a pain because you're going to get slammed with a lot of ads, but this is actually a really good tool. And if you want to use the free version, you have to put up with the ads. You also have to pay much closer attention, because when you have a site with ads, you can, and this is true for all sources, you could click on something and think that you're still in the same website and you've gone to a different website. So here we go, and it's asking us to do that, and I've clicked away. This is MediaBiasFactCheck.com. So I'm going to make sure as I'm going through this process, I'm sticking to that same website. So I'm going to click here into this search box, and I'm going to type the name of my source, which was Very Well Mind. And then I'm going to hit the Enter key. And notice I'm double checking here. Media bias fact check, so I'm still on my right website. And here is to the source that has the name, the exact name of my source. Sometimes if it can't find your source, it will find a different source and list that one. So you have to make sure this says it's very well mined, and I can look back over here at my source and see, yes, I'm double checking. I've checked the right source. It's very well mined. So now I'm going to click this link to find out more, to see the review of the credibility of the source. So you can see it's going to tell me the bias and credibility. I'm going to scroll down, and it tells me that it is pro-science and that it's high factual reporting. So by pro-science, it's telling me it's evidence-based, and that means that it's unbiased. So I can use this source. It also tells me that it has a high factual reporting. So that means that because my source is within 5 years, unbiased, which I just found out in the bias checker, and relies on experts, I can use it. Now I'm going to show you one more way you might see a rating. Pro-science is always excellent, but some publications come up a little differently, and I want to show you an example of one of those. Here I've found another article on my topic, forest bathing. It's from 2019 from The Guardian. Again, which is a newspaper. Again, I've found that there is some empirical evidence. There's discussion of studies, etc. here. So now I might be interested in using this website. So again, I'm going to go back to the media bias checker. And I'm going to scroll back to the top here, and I'm going to the search box, and I'm going to type in the name of this other publication, The Guardian. And I accidentally, okay, hit enter. And it's searching. And here we see search results for The Guardian. Again, I'm making sure I've got the right source. And now we're going to see the chart a little differently. And what happens here is that it's going to give us a rating of the factual reporting. So because this is not high, it's below high, this would not be a good source for an academic paper. I want it to be high or better. Next, this is where the political bias line is displayed. In this case, we see the extreme left or liberal and the extreme right or conservative, and there's a line, a continuum. For academic papers, your source should be between left center and right center if it doesn't come up pro-science. If it comes up pro-science, you don't need to look at this. Here, if it's left center or right center, it's acceptable, but nothing beyond. So really, this source right here is getting beyond the acceptable level on this side, and if it were over here, same thing. So you want a source that's going to be within this range of left center and right center, or in the very center, least biased. This bias, this political bias, is more and less significant depending on the topic that you're discussing. So that is how you can check to see if your sources are in fact credible and usable for an academic paper.